we'll just move on. Okay, we're live now. So we'll move on. And what we want to do is Camden sent out a updated copy of the Parks Element 2020 update. We're going to hold off on that. I hope the committee would look that over the next week. We're going to move right to the map. Pete should be joining us soon. He said he'd be a little late, but he would jump on. So we're going to look at the parks map and look at properties or areas we think, property owners that might be approachable to sell land to the city, or at least make land available to the city for park space. So Camden's going to need to help us a little bit with that. Have you highlighted that little parcel, the 4.2 acre parcel that has been discussed there, right there? Okay.
It's not it's not showcased on here. This predated that, not knowledge of that.
Okay, but that's roughly the area that's in.
Yeah, it's up here.
Okay.
I mean, it might be that. No, I don't think it's that big. But it's there. It's adjacent to this top portion here.
Okay, and that's Boat Harbor Road that runs straight down there to the boat harbor. All right. So I'm not 100% sure where the Fransons 50 acres are, but I think it's just south of the development Peter's in and the one just south of Peter.
When you mention Franson's 50 acres, do you say that because you think that's Franson has expressed interest in donating or selling that?
Yeah, he approached Rob Shelton and I after Rob had his meeting in the park, Mountain Meadows Park, a month or so back. And he said he has 50 acres sitting there.
So Rob, I talked to Rob about that when he kind of said that when Bruce was talking about no one's approached him about it.
Yeah.
He was talking about land that he had on this 200 South in this, I think in this, but I can confirm that.
No, he talked about Franson's owned a lot of property down there.
Yeah.
He specifically mentioned 50 acres just south of Peter's development. And then they also own land up by, the land up by Second South. He was just saying he owned land north of Second South in between the freeway, or in between Pioneer Crossing and Second South, that bordered Second South, that nobody had talked to him about when they were trying to widen, when they were trying to acquire property to widen Second South.
Okay.
So it was two separate discussions, but yeah. So it'd be somewhere just south of Peter's development and the second development off Boat Harbor Road, on the west side of Boat Harbor Road.
Yes, somewhere right here.
Yeah, just on the other side of where the little oval, it says 2 acres, I think, or yeah, south of that on the other side of the road.
Okay, I can. I noted it. I'll look into it. Like based off this discussion, I'll probably be getting with Public Works and our planning and figuring out specific properties. But I think it'd be good in this meeting if we can just kind of agree on general areas. We kind of like to play circles.
Okay.
Because when Barbara was saying this too, when we actually create the map for the general plan, we're probably not going to be having specific parcels drawn on that either. But we will use that to, outside of the plan, identify the specific parcels and figure out how we're going to approach or discuss acquisition with those owners.
Okay, so the 20 acres, the Greenwood 20 acres, what property is that?
And I'm not gonna know all these properties, but this one in particular, it's is it Blackhurst?
Yes.
I think Blackhurst is someone that's over here.
Ferris. Yeah.
Yeah, Ferris. That's Ferris Blackhurst. So that's it. That's the Blackhurst property.
I don't know. Yeah, largely. I think we were looking for a larger size part. Like when I drew a lot of these, it had nothing to do with property owners. It was, and I can go through, but it was based off what I knew current opportunity, where I thought the right size and placement would be to get the right coverage.
Right.
And so this one, it's adjacent to the river. It was central, and so it kind of filled in a gap right here. And I know there's no development happening right now here, so I just threw it down.
I'm kind of pretty sure that's where his house is, because he has a house up there.
Yeah, it's like right here.
Yeah, but
And
he
the
does
baseball
own.
field.
Yeah, he does own south of his property, way south of his property. Is the 2-acre oval the wooded area that we've discussed frequently?
Yep.
So yeah, he owns, I mean, you could move that oval south, so we're not including his house, but if this isn't all going to show up on the map that we present, I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah.
I think
And then
we have a park here that we can maybe access from this road that was connected to the river. And then a key benefit would be places that aren't annexed yet, because we could actually, in our land use element, zone them as public facilities. If it's already property in the city, changing the zoning to a public facility would be a takings, and we can get in trouble, or we'd have to pay full price if we did that. But if it's not annexed in, we could change this as a public facility before it annexes. And so there's this area right here where this black dot is. This would be a good area to do that. These would be good areas to do that. This area is a public facility. It's in this, but when we annexed it in, we annexed it as a public facility. So it's this is a good opportunity here.
all right, because I do think Ferris's property almost goes to the top of the oval where the 2 acres are. He farms alfalfa and stuff there. Anyway.
Camden, I think it's great that you're going for some larger parcels. All week, I have just thought, if we don't secure something, it'll be gone. And especially something large. So it's nice to see some larger acre areas.
Yeah, this actually doesn't quite get us. We're maintaining our 6.25. We quickly did this before we had the numbers finalized. So these purple area hatched areas gets us to 161. I think we actually want like 180, maybe 187 off the top of my head. And so they'd just be a little bit larger. But what do you think? Like, are these good areas to focus on? The one change is maybe we would shrink this and we would expand this, because this we own. And we have discussed, if you remember, maybe transferring wetland space here to, along here if we can, so that we can repurpose this for just full park space.
Right. I think that's the direction we would definitely want to go.
Okay.
Oh, Camden, how big is Art Dye? 52 or something like that?
It's like 75 acres total
75.
forested area. I think like 20 to 30 maybe landscape. Like
Okay.
grass.
So in like that 30-acre area, could you have baseball diamonds and soccer fields and pickleball?
Yes.
That's big enough to do something like that?
Maybe not like a 4 or 5 plex, but you have a baseball field or 2, I would imagine.
I would vote for some sort of basketball and pickleball facility there, because we have no basketball.
Amen.
Yep.
Hey, let me ask you this, Camden, have we ever thought, and I'm just throwing this out, I know this isn't what it's for tonight, but have we ever worked with Derek and thought about some sort of indoor rec center down there? That could have indoor soccer, volleyball, basketball, something of that sort? Or is this only outdoor things that we can work on?
Derek can speak to that. I know that those sort of
he's
ideas
on.
have been tossed around. I think that would be desirable to have something like that down the road. Totally a funding issue like everything else. I think our plan is for open space in terms of parks master plan. But I think the recreational aspect is important. I mean, we're looking into police station, a substation, another fire department, maybe a public works annex. So there's facilities down here that we need to do.
Well,
Okay.
and we haven't got a report back on the feasibility study for the rec center either. That was done. I mean, we were aware that there was a feasibility study being done about a year ago, but I don't think we've ever heard the results of that. Whether it was better to expand where they're at now and do something to add on there, or whether finding a different place in a whole new facility, and just some questions. It was supposed to answer some questions like that.
I just wondered if some of that wetland area that we said you can't really do much on, can you even put a building on it?
This area here.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't say. I'd imagine in certain parts, maybe northern part, southern part, you could. Even this is the river here. I know that they're looking into maybe a building possibly in one corner of this. I think there are options. We just be careful. I mean, this whole area really is dangerous to develop in because of floodplain, liquefaction, and other. As long as you take the right step.
Yeah, there's a weird echo that you're kind of breaking up everywhere, Camden. At least for me, I don't know about everybody else. What my understanding is, we have to trade wetlands for wetlands to be able to do anything on that wetland area up there.
Yeah, and it's even more complicated than that, but it's something we should explore. I don't know where exactly we would land, but we just adapt as needed. I think the Utah State Department of what's the wildlife services aspect or something, they are looking, they have some vegetation and I think wildlife there specifically. So even if we could transfer technically wetland designation, they may not want to let that happen because they want to preserve specific habitat.
Right. But they might let us go a little further south. I don't know. It all needs to be invested.
I think we would mark it as a targeted space for green space, and then we just see what we can do. I think that's part of this is you got to be flexible, but you just need to put pins on the map and go from there.
Right.
So the core park space for our die is 47 acres. But like, if you think of like Rotary Park, it's got one baseball field and it could fit another one if you cut away open space. That one's just under 10 acres. So to kind of give you perspective.
That's 10 acres with the baseball field and the park, right?
Yeah. So at 30 acres, it's 30 acres, not including this little strip here. So if we filled this out right here, I think we could get some good stuff in there.
Good. I'm glad it's a bigger piece.
All right. And I don't know, I mean, what we're dealing with the parks update is just open outside space, right?
Yeah, I think for the goals that we're setting in the general plan or the master plan that we're working on, we're looking on core, we define core landscapes, grass, space or traditional recreation space.
Okay, so in a future meeting, we do need to discuss the rec center because it's there's a big fear with people that attend up there that it's going to get shut down pretty quick because of the number of people that are in there and maybe not 100% following a pandemic plan to prevent the spread of any virus. You know, it gets pretty crowded up there. And there is that basketball court that is been turned into the gymnastics area. And we understand, I think we as committee understand that that makes more money, or at least seems possibly makes more money than it would be rented out for use as a basketball.
Hey, Scott, as far as this is Derek, the rec center shutting down. So we monitor the numbers, and there's no risks of getting shut down or anything like that. We're fine on our numbers. We're not close to our capacity at that place.
At any given time?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so working with the county and the restrictions that we have and the amount of space that we have, we're doing just fine.
I'll let people know. These are just patrons in the morning when I'm there. You know, we're voicing some concern. You know, one of these days, some couple of old guys are going to beat up somebody for not wiping off equipment, isn't it? Anyway. But back to our task at hand.
Sorry,
So is there any other?
This is Peter, and I'm coming in a little bit late. I heard a little bit of what was being talked about, but that Greenwood 20 acres. So we're just discussing potential areas that might be nice, right?
Yes.
Camden, if you move that Greenwood 20 acres a little bit further south, you probably can't move it any more west. But if you moved it just a touch south, and I don't know if that's possible with what exists there and things, it looks like you might be able to even get a little bit more coverage of a kind of a dull. There's like the bright green radius, and then there's kind of a dull area that might be able to encompass a little bit better. I don't know. Yep, right where your cursor is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had talked about we're gonna, based off the discussion, I'm gonna go redo this to kind of expand this purple area into this, which would completely fill up this whole area with green. So this is city owned right here, and we're gonna
okay.
Try and take advantage of that as well.
Okay, something might not be advantage.
I was just going to say it would be good if you just drug the 20-acre oval directly south, because I know Blackhurst own almost that whole piece. And if you just drug it off where their house is, it'd be maybe a little bit more realistic of where the area would actually be.
Okay, I'll pull it south a little bit. It'll be around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, that's maybe nitpicky, but it was just a thought I had. And did we talk about the 70.75 acre strip that looks like it's paralleling with that major corridor, whatever that's, I forget the name of that, what that's going to be, but.
A vineyard connector. No, we haven't brought that up.
Oh, okay. Well, we can discuss that later. Right now, it's not the right time. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
No, we could discuss that now. I mean, we talked about the 30 acres, the 2-acre parcel. The oval is the wooded area down there
I think the way the 20 acres and the 30 acres are kind of just put on there, those are things you can do a lot with. That strip, that 70.75 acres, how narrow it is, I'm not sure how much you could do there. Maybe others don't have a thought or the right vision. Maybe you guys have a better thought or vision. It just seems by making it that narrow, you limit significantly what type of things you can do there and make it less valuable.
Yeah, so the reason we did this is this is a power line corridor. So this is protected space that can never be developed. So this is a huge likelihood that we'll be able to take advantage of this as like a linear park space, a long trail. I can't remember off the top of my head how wide.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
But I think you could put like playgrounds. You just kind of have these sections of playgrounds, open grass, playground, open grass, playground. I think you could even do programming just in more narrow capacity. But I think there are options here. It becomes a lot of, I think it's pretty wide. Just standing there. I mean, there will be power lines over it. And there'll be stations where the actual lines touch the ground with the footings. But the idea is this would be kind of a trail too. We'd have a crossover here, go under here and this area.
Camden, is it big enough to put pickleball courts?
Yeah, I'd imagine it is.
That'd be
Well,
good.
there's the popular item right there. Yeah, if this is just me and my thoughts, initial thoughts, not strong opinion or thoughts. I'm just lacking the vision there, but it almost seems like it might be better if you give that more of a, rather than a linear shape. If you could give that more rectangular shape somehow with more depth to it, you could do the all the things that you mentioned, plus the sporting stuff as well that is always beneficial.
Well, the thought was to add sections, larger sections to it, but we're trying to deliberately take advantage of space that we know cannot be developed, and so that the cost to acquire utilize would be far more advantageous for us. And so if we broaden this out, that's fine, but we're then paying a premium for like a wider aspect, and we would still have this linear space. If we move this down and try to add it along here or something, and this along there more narrow, or we could do that as well, but we don't want to add more acres than we need to acquire. That's already a difficult thing. So anyway, we were just trying to leverage opportunity based off this.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. If there's a strong,
Go ahead.
if there is a really good plan that makes sense with that, I just don't have that vision. But I guess I understand what you're saying is you could potentially get a discount on that. But I guess my thoughts are if you don't utilize it in a way that really adds value to that space, you might as well not even buy it. I mean, it's kind of just to buy it. Yeah. If you don't, you want to make sure you buy area, even if it's a little more costly, but that you can utilize in a very broad way and to all the residents in the area.
Well, and a lot of it would depend on how wide that actually is, and I don't know how accurate to scale all those areas are, but there's a little 1 acre circle up there by where it says Boat Harbor sign. And that appears to be almost the width of the strip, 70.75 acre strip. And if it's roughly an acre wide, that is wide enough to put, you could stack a couple of pickleball courts on the width of that pretty easily and still have plenty of space to go around that. Anyway.
Okay.
So it is kind of hard to envision the way it looks on the map, I think.
Yeah.
And speaking of the 1 acre, is that right next to the bus station?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
UTA?
One of the reasons we targeted this area for the large one, and then we added this here, just because this is the TOD, there's a high density and a low the open space. Traditional open space isn't as I want to say required. I don't know. And so getting just a small pocket park in there, I think would be good. We thought that they'll have at least one. but then they would also have access to a large open space. So we're trying to get as close to this area as possible because of the density we're probably going to see here.
Right.
Facilitate that, and then we wanted. I just thought a secondary, decently large space would be good too. And then, I mean, 14 acres, it would be large. These are all I mean, this would be really good too. These would all be really large, well-used spaces.
Right. So I guess the Franson property that he talked about would be just below below the development there, and then probably dipping down into where the corridor is, I would imagine. And like I said, I'm pretty sure he was talking about 2 different parcels between there and the land they have up by Second South. And I don't know who, I mean, it's county records, so I guess you could get on and find out exactly, what properties he's talking about, or I can go, Rob and I talked about going to talk to him because he's kind of a relative of mine, and Rob knows him pretty well too. Just see what he's talking about.
Yeah, we can look. And we can look at the county map open right now, but a lot of it's so a lot of it's in holdings. So if he's part of TKF Holdings or
TKF is Ferris Blackhurst.
okay,
I'm pretty sure that's his.
Southside Properties. So some of it's just kind of interpreting what this is and what it will be. So like I said, based off the spaces you want to focus on tonight that you discuss, I'm going to take that and go kind of to planning and kind of say, okay, let's look at the properties here. What's the situation with each of these? And then I can inform you guys so we can we would tweak them, we'd relocate some of the areas, or we'd focus on them more heavily.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna also create official maps. This one's kind of a hybrid of 2 maps, maybe 3, just because it was easier, convenient to lay them all on top of each other to look. But I'm gonna break these out again as for official appendices for the master plan, and based off this discussion as well.
Okay. Sounds good. Are there any other areas on the map anybody wants to discuss?
Did we do anything up on the north end by all the new building by the temple?
Yeah, that was one of my concerns.
So I added this right here to try and help some. I have no idea what the prospect of this too. I'd have to look into. When I was asking them, it looked like most of this was developed. This was, isn't this the state? Is this the state up here?
Let's see, Art Dye, yes, that's the new, yeah, that's the agreement the Developmental Center went into with Highland, part of American Fork. It's going to be leased, a developed leased land. Yes.
This is going to be developed.
Yep.
There's Murdoch. Is this Harvey Boulevard right here?
Yep.
Yeah, this is the road. This is the Murdoch connector it's going to go through. I guess it's going to connect maybe up here, or I think it's right here.
Yeah.
So I mean, I didn't see, but there's no development right here, so I didn't feel an urgency right here to try and get a park. It would be this area, and there just this may be part of the gap. Like, yeah, this may be part of the gap because I think all of this is going to be developed. This was not on the last map that we followed. It wasn't annexed.
So Camden, that area that you said north that wasn't developed yet? Yeah, right there. Can it be developed eventually?
It will be developed there where Camden pointed out, what's that road called? The
Murdoch
connector.
Here.
Yeah, that connector is going to go straight across to First East, just above the holding pond above Fox Hollow.
Yeah,
And
so
then
this area is going to be developed, right? But I still don't know about this area.
yeah, right now the Developmental Center leases that land to a farmer that I don't know how long the lease lasts, but it's about 10 to 20 acres.
But I can slap a circle on here too if you want.
I just think if we don't protect it now and they come in and want to build it, it's hard to go back and say, no, that's protected land, or
Yeah.
we need a park, right?
Yeah, and these do inform, like during the development process, the planners and stuff, they use these maps to kind of inform, okay, we want a park here. So when it gets developed, that's part of the discussion. So I'm okay with that. I'll look into more where the development's happening here and what that looks like, and place that park size and accordingly.
Most of the leased land the state's going to lease for development is north of the connector. And then everything south of the connector and south of Murdoch Canal, well, south of the connector is state property that they currently lease for farming.
Mm-hmm. But that's a good idea. Let's just put something here so that we can have it on our radar to look at if anything ever does happen. And then I'll look into this one too.
Yeah, and then where's the oval there above 450 North on the northeast side there? The purple, yeah, right there. Where is that? There's Quail Cove.
That's on Utah County Boulevard. I think it's something like right here. Sorry, let me give you more context. So there's the hospital, 300 North. I think I just targeted right here, I believe.
Okay, and what is that right now?
Sandra Pace. It's a single property. I think it's got a home, and I don't know. I'd have to look more into details. I put it just for the coverage, not because I knew the parcel, the likelihood that we could get it. This is another one where I may sit down with the planners and I show them this and they just laugh at me and say there's no way in the world that they would ever
do
this. Or they may say like, oh, it's already slated to be offices. Or I don't know.
So just a suggestion, it would be great to ask. They may say absolutely not.
Right.
But I think there's enough people that have expressed interest that they've tried to contact the city or show, that they're interested in donating in some form, maybe not fully. But if there's a parcel that you think would be great, we need to ask.
Yeah.
I think that parcel that you just showed us, would work really well for a pickleball court, just right off of a major road or whatever, I mean, it's so thin. I don't know if you could get much else out of it.
Right.
I hear a lot of pickleball courts. We're going to have, the city's going to be known for pickleball. It probably already is. I always see that pickleball court at Art Dye busy. So there's obviously need for more.
Yeah.
And again, Derek, I don't know if you can comment on it, but if we could even get another closed-in facility, I know with COVID, it's probably hard in general, but people want to get out and exercise. And if there was even indoor basketball, volleyball, soccer, pickleball, it'd be great too.
Yeah, those are definitely incorporated in our long-range plan at the rec center. And we definitely have those options and are looking to include that for sure.
It would be good to get pickleball courts in before there's development around some of the areas, especially in the south, because Jason more than once has talked about the complaints they get because of the noise of the pickleball players, especially when they're put in next to residents.
Yeah, that's a big hot topic in Utah right now. A lot of cities are having to explore some options of how to try to baffle the sound. And so Spanish Fork, Orem, Kaysville, there's a lot of cities dealing with that.
It's just an issue. I'm not against pickleball courts. I think they're great. I just know that that's definitely a problem when a city approaches residents to use existing park space to put a pickleball court in. There's a lot of pushback. Anyway, is there any other areas that we need to discuss on the map to lay out some additional park space? I mean, that what we have there and what we may add down there on the south should bring us pretty close to the 180 acres, I think it was, that we needed to take us to the 6.25 per thousand ratio.
So to summarize, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to talk with our planning department, public works, look to place a park up here, expand this area, move this down a little bit, and I'll probably add in this parcel that's been discussed here. See where that gets us in terms of acreage. I'm going to maybe size them a little bit so that we just try and achieve our 187 or whatever the kind of desired acreage is. I'm going to take that and then talk to our planning department, and then I may adapt it based off what they say on specific parcels. And then maybe the next time we meet, I can report back with better information on these areas.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's see, what else is on the agenda? I don't know if we need to discuss any more on the boat harbor. I think that was taken care of pretty much in the last meeting. Was there any other? Oh, yeah. Cam, did you have any luck on looking at usage? I know it'd be hard to track because I'm pretty sure the only mechanism for data would be the fee to get into the boat harbor and launch a boat, right?
Yeah, but cost revenue, and we did pull some numbers before. I apologize, I hadn't tracked those down or update them, and I haven't done that for this meeting, so I apologize. But I'll look at that and I'll get it to you before the next meeting, so you can actually see the difference between this year and prior years.
Right, and does the city track anything other than the harbor fee, the boat harbor fee to launch a boat? Yeah, they charge other people to hang out, you know, in what they have now with the sandy beach and things.
Yeah, there's they have a fee just to come in and park. There's a fee to go fishing off of it, and then there's a fee to launch. There may be another one, but those ones I can think of off the top of my head. And we have each of those broken out depending what they're doing, so we can tell you how many of each of those have taken place.
Okay, great. We don't have anything that says actual usage though, right? So like the single use, you could get usage out of a single use fee, but out of an annual pass, you wouldn't know how many times that person came. Is that correct?
No, it's such a rudimentary place. Not a lot of resources there right now. So yeah, that's we can discuss better ways to track these things. I think we need to, just to be able to better quantify for grants. But right now we don't really have that.
That makes sense.
And maybe Derek or Jason, you've got more experience. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's to my knowledge where we're at.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious. That's kind of what I was guessing. The numbers that I'm guessing the city had was the revenue or the money that came in, and not necessarily tracking how many people are there and tracking, you know, how often the parking spots are at capacity, you know, all of those things. But if they have those numbers, I think it would be interesting to know.
Through our point of sale system, we can break it down into launches, just general parking, day use, fishing, walk-ins, and then our season pass sales.
Okay.
So we could break it down that way, but not
Not further. That's fine.
not
Yeah, that
further
makes
than
sense.
that.
Yeah, that information would be interesting, I think. And yeah, comparing year to year, I think would also be interesting to see. In the last meeting, Camden, you mentioned that it's likely the increase came from, it's a different year this year. Things, people didn't go to Disneyland and they're looking for other recreation, they're looking for something else. They're wanting to get out. So it's a different year this year, but there's also, I think I mentioned this in the email. Some of that number could also be explained by population growth. And there is quite a bit of population growth that we know in that area.
Indeed.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Is there anything else for tonight's meeting?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. I'll try to put some minutes together from this meeting. So in the next meeting, the plan would be, hopefully everybody got a copy of Camden's updates on the document. Everybody review that, and then Camden, would you be able to send out an updated map at the beginning of next week? Possibly.
I think so, because the map work is designed by someone else. I kind of need to reach out to them and get that timeline. And because part of that involves me sitting down and meeting with the planners and stuff. I think I can get it before the next Wednesday meeting, hopefully first thing Monday, but I need to reach out to them tomorrow, because we work 4/10, so I have tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday.
Well, and Wednesday's a state holiday, so I don't know if we want to meet Wednesday. We discussed that briefly last week. Is everybody good on Thursday?
Yes.
I think that should work for me.
Okay, and
Sure.
do we want to keep it at 8?
Next Thursday at 8.
Or 6 or 7 or 8?
8's fine.
Yeah, Thursday at 8 is fine.
All right, Peter,
At 5 o'clock. Yeah, let's plan on that.
8 o'clock.
Oh,
Yep.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So without using the last 5 minutes to discuss the success of or lack thereof of the drive-through trick or treat on Main Street at Art Dye, do I have a motion to close the meeting, end the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
I
Second,
second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And our next meeting
Aye.
will, okay, thank you. And our next meeting will be next Thursday, the 12th at 8 p.m.
Sounds great.
All right. See y'all then.
Okay. See ya.
Thanks, Camden. Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Jason.